It's over.
It's surreal. I wish there was more to it. I want to read more. I want to get more of Cassian and Nesta because I feel like I've really enjoyed their love story. I really enjoyed it.
I did. Literally best book out of the series, hands down, and you can fight me on that.
Most definitely.
Y'all can square up on that.
Before this book, I would have said the best book was probably between A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Yeah,
it was between those two. But after this book, nah, this is it. This was the best.
Yeah.
It's
the creme de la creme.
I agree.
I also feel as you feel like kind of surreal because it's like I want to read more, but I also need a break from this series.
Yes.
It's a very weird like in between for me.
I completely agree. I feel like it was a lot and I was so immersed in Corinthian and Feyre and her family and the inner circle and like everything. But like, yeah, it'll be nice to like have a breather, find a different couple to like. Even though this book had nothing, not that it had nothing to do with Rhys and Feyre, it did, but it just was from Cassian and Nesta's perspective, which was great. It was nice to read it from a different couple, but it was still the same circle of friends, same characters, same kind of place of issues and things like that. So like, it's going to be nice to like jump out of this and maybe jump into a different world, jump into a different set of characters, jump into a different love story. And like be able to fall in love with different characters. Will I be back for Az? Most definitely, baby Az, yeah.
Absolutely. Is that even a question? Is that even a question?
Right, exactly.
Like, of course we'll be back for Azriel. Like, we need the tea.
Baby Az.
So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the last 9 chapters of the book. Yeah, okay. I know. We blazed through this shit.
We definitely did.
So we start out with chapter 71.
It was a short chapter.
Yeah, it was very short. From the end of the book, it had a lot of very short chapters.
Yeah.
But I think that's how Sarah likes to do it, like we were discussing earlier.
Yes, I agree.
Everything is lengthy, and then at the very end, she's like, bam, bam,
it's
bam,
like a
bam,
snowball.
thanks for coming by.
It's just hitting you left and right, left and right, left and right, and you're like, holy shit.
It's like the fucking Bat Boys snowball fight where it goes on.
Yeah, you're right.
Like forever. It's just hit after hit.
Exactly.
So chapter 71, Joe Pesci is with Cassian and Azriel, and he pretty much tells them, I've been preparing for you. After all this time, I've been preparing to see you, and you don't want to be with me? Hell no!
I'm sorry. The moment this man would have been like, I've been preparing to see you, I would have looked at Az and been like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Fuck Eris.
It's an immediate no.
We gotta get the fuck up out of here. Like, that would have been me.
Dead ass. Like, he's lost. Eris is lost, okay?
Right. We're not getting that back. We're not getting that back.
Bruh. Yes. And then Brillo Pad comes out, and she's like, oh, yes, I have plans for you. And she doesn't specify who she has plans for. But Azriel's like, yo, let's go. Azriel picks up Eris and heads out, but Cassian can't move.
So Cassian gets stuck, basically. And like,
he's up and he's stuck.
He's stuck. He didn't even make it upward. Like, he went to go open his wings and like was stuck. And then Brillo Pad basically comes over and she's like, I have need of you, Lord of Bastards. And I was like, ah, shit.
Literally at this point, my mind was like, she is going to make Cassian kill Nesta. And that is how this book is going to end. And I am going to lose my shit.
That is exactly what I thought. I was like, we don't have enough chapters for this shit. I was like, we don't get enough chapters.
Right. We don't have enough chapters for it to resolve itself. It's just, and if Sarah ended it like that,
I would have been pissed.
I'd be blowing up her fucking newsfeed every day. Every day.
She would have been prepared to be sick of me. Prepared to be sick of me.
Bitch would have blocked us.
She would be like, YA Heart? Yeah, nah.
Oh, shit. Like, yeah, no, I don't fuck with them bitches. So it immediately switches to Nesta's POV. Yes. And she has successfully held the line. She has slaughtered every one of... Is it Belias? Bruh. But like the warrior that she is, she has slain everyone. And Belias is the last person.
This coward.
Emery and Gwen made it to the fucking top of the mountain, touched the rock. My bitches
winnowed. They won and they winnowed out.
Bellius is mad as fuck.
He was pissed off.
Like, you wish that was you, don't you?
Thanks, yo. But then, like, I think this was the chapter where Nesta sat and she really thought, because before, the reason she was holding the line was she sat and she was like, as long as my friends make it out, I'm good. As long as my friends make it out, I'm okay. But now, after they made it out, she's like, no, I want to live. She's like, I want to live. I want to have a long life and I want to live it with Cassian. And she was like,
yes,
I got to make it out of here alive. I was like, bet, bitch. I was like, bet.
Right. She is fired up. And that leads into chapter 72. Yep. She's trying to fight against Bellius. Of course, he's like bigger or whatever. And he does end up disarming her. She's like, all right, fuck it.
We're going hand to hand, bitch. Hand to hand.
And this line I love so much. He was like, oh, you really believe that you can beat me in hand-to-hand combat?
When he says that and she says, I do, she broke this motherfucker's nose and then was like, because my mate taught me well. I was like, yes, bitch. Cassian for the win.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
It was the breaking of the nose for me.
It's everything for me. It's the character development.
That's what it is.
It's the Cassian is my mate. Fucking these people up. Like,
what it is was that we met her as a human who was so prideful and so vicious and so cruel. Obviously, we immediately disliked her because we were all looking at it from Feyre's perspective. And then realizing, I think in A Court of Mist and Fury, what she did after Feyre left, how she actually went to go find her sister, regardless that Elaine and Dad didn't. I like sat there, I was like, okay, so there's more to this. Like, she actually does love Feyre. It might be hard for her to show, but there is some type of sisterly affection there. For her to go through that whole situation, then be violated by being thrown into the cauldron, being violated by Tomas or whatever the fuck, going through, like, being at the bottom, you know what I mean? Like, being so far down, and for her to have so much power and to feel powerless, watching her struggle through that, and then coming out on the other end, for her to have that much character development, it's crazy, but in reality, Nesta is probably my favorite character at the moment. She is my favorite character.
But not even probably for me. She is. Out of everyone else and everything that you just explained, she has had such a story. It's just like she's the one that I connect with the most.
Exactly.
And she is, like, her story, it's just hands down the best.
It is. No, it most definitely is. Nah, like, I get it. Feyre's story was very traumatizing. I understand. But I feel like Nesta has been through way more. Feyre's was traumatizing because she was doing it for the first person that she ever actually loved. That she felt like, I have to give all to this man. Nesta, hers is more of a trying to learn how to have a sisterly bond with people.
And learning to live with things that have happened to her. And she says that a lot. She's like, I will not let anything else happen to me. Like, this isn't going to happen to me. I am going to happen to them.
That's what I mean. So she is no longer viewing herself as a victim and viewing herself as, okay, this happened to me, but this isn't defining me. I'm way better than this.
Exactly. And then on top of that, also figuring out her self-worth.
Yeah.
And, learning to actually love herself. So I just thought it was a very, very beautifully done story.
I think her mom played a huge role in that. I think her mom played a role in,
she did.
Oh, because your first love will be your parents. Your first love as a child is always going to be like your mother or your father or both of them or whatever. And so I think for her, she never got to do that because her mom never provided her with that nurturing love.
It was very like, you are here, this is your job, this is our mission.
Correct, exactly. So for her, I think this discovery of not only finding how to love herself and all of the bits and pieces of her that are not perfect, great, and things like that, but also learning how to love Cassian in a way that was deserving. But in that exact moment when she says, my mate taught me well, for me, that was her accepting, no, I deserve to be loved and I deserve to love somebody.
Oh, Nesta!
I can't say enough. I will die on that hill for Nesta. I will die on the fucking hill for Nesta.
I love her. what is this? Oh, chapter 73. Yes. Sorry, we went on the tangent, bro. We cannot express the love, the amount of love that we have for this bitch. Like, I love her so much. So we move on to chapter 73. Mm-hmm. And Bellius is actually hovering over Nesta, about to kill her. Like, Nesta has given all that she has. And then Cassian appears. Yo. And he kills Bellius. I'm like, yay! But wait a minute. The last time we saw you. Right. You were under an influence, so I don't. What the fuck is going on? Right, exactly. Then he turns to Nesta and he's like, "Now I'm gonna slit your pretty little throat." And I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Hold on, let's pump the brakes. Let's not do this." And he grips her up and he talks about it. I think in the next chapter in 74, how he's conscious for all of this. Cassian is definitely under the influence. That's how you're reading it, and he's trying to tell Nesta, with like his eyes, like, kill me before I have to do this. And then of course Brillo Pad shows up with her fucking crown and shit, and I was like, all right, well then. Her fucking rusty, dusty, crusty ass. And her thin ass hair. I was like, this bitch. She probably balding. Like, bitch. She balding. Skido. Ain't got no hair in the middle. Oh my God. It was bad. It was bad. On cue as well in chapter 74. She's like, this is my evil villain speech. This is why I'm doing this. Oh my gosh, she went on a whole fucking tangent and I just sat there. I was like, Nesta, this is your opportunity to kill this bitch. Right, like, please, damn. I was like, just shut her up. Bruh, like, honestly. But Brillo, she basically says what we kind of assumed all along, but I was hoping that there was more to it. She wanted the trove just to become young again. I knew it. And to seek revenge. I knew it. And I'm like, but I think, okay. So I think that was Brillo Pad's plan. But Joe Pesci, I think, had a different plan. We just didn't go into it. Okay, so he's the mastermind. I guarantee you, yes, most definitely. Yeah. Because that would make more sense. Because I was just like, that's not a strong enough thing for me. Right. So I think that was just Brillo Pad. And I think that was just her perspective of everything and just what she was doing it for. But we still have to take into consideration Joe Pesci. And so I say that because when we get towards the end of the book, there's a little bit that happens where Cassian's like, we still have Joe Pesci to deal with, and we still have this to deal with, and we still have that to deal with. And Nesta's kind of like, we'll take care of that later. It's been planted there so that you remember it as a reader. Joe Pesci's still out there, and Vasa is still having to deal with him. That's something we can't forget about. And like, I think Joe Pesci was using Brillo Pad. So like, he was just using her as a means to get the trove, I think, and a means to get rid of something, like to get rid of Nesta. That would make much more sense because as a reader, finally getting face to face with the villain, and this was like your grandiose plan, I was just like, tomatoes. But so I'm glad that, I'm glad to see it from that point of view, because at first I was just like, this dumb. Isn't it. Yeah. But it makes more sense that way. We also, we have to witness this. Brillo orders Cassian to kill. Now, she does not say specifically to kill Nesta. Correct. So he is gripping onto her like really, really hardly. And Nesta's kind of looking at him like, it's okay. I love you. Everything's going to be all right. Cassian ends up not stabbing Nesta, but actually stabbing himself. It was the loophole for me. Yeah, it was the loophole for me. Whoa, no! Where he sat there, he was like, this bitch told me to kill, but she wasn't specifying who, so I'm just gonna save my meat and pop. And kill myself. I was like, it was the loophole for me. My fucking God. And of course, this sends Nesta over the fucking edge. Oh my God, she fucking went ballistic. Yes, now that the rite is officially over, she gets her magic back and she unalived. Legit! She did. She immediately started Benjamin buttoned her. Yo, I thought the exact same thing when I was reading it. I was like, oh, she like reversed this bitch. She Benjamin buttoned this bitch. Yes. She starts screaming and like her screaming like unleashes all of her power. They felt that power in Valaris. In Adriata, under the mountain. They was like, what the fuck? There were like glasses shaking. Like her screaming erupted like an earthquake across the land. And then all that was left of the queen was dust. Legit a scorch mark. Ashes to ashes. Legit a scorch mark. That's all that she left in this bitch. She's a skid mark. She's a skid mark. I wanted to ask you though, because in this part, we remember how Vasa was asking Feyre and the High Lords if there was anything that they could do to help reverse the curse or what have you, or help break the curse. Now I'm wondering, since Nesta did that, do we think that Nesta could also help Vasa break her curse?
I think so. And maybe that's what one of the books, because I know that Sarah J. Maas has, 3 more books to write?
I think for sure she said 2. I didn't hear about a third.
Okay.
At least 2 more.
I thought it was 3 because one of them's going to be a novella.
Oh, not another fucking novella. Come on.
I don't think it's going to be an actual book. It's just going to be the other one.
I'm skipping it.
Unless it's about Lucian. If it's about Lucian, I'm all for it. But
if it's about Lucian, then okay.
But I think she has 3 more books to write. So maybe one of them, maybe it'll have Nesta helping Vasa. Because in reality, currently, Nesta's stronger than Feyre.
Yeah, her power is not specifically water, fire, air, earth. Her power is life and death.
I'm not saying use her the way Amran was saying to use her. I'm saying basically talk to Nesta and just be like, hey, you obviously have the capability and the capacity with your powers to maybe help Vasa. Let's figure out a way to reverse that spell. So at least we have one queen on the continent that is on our side.
Right. Because that's a powerful ally that you still need.
Yeah, we move on to chapter 75. This is the aftermath. So basically, Cassian is face down in the earth. Nesta is rushing over. She's trying to make sure, she's trying to look at the wound. This fucking dude, he didn't stab himself. There is no blood.
Okay, I'm confused because she said Nesta watched him stab the dagger into his heart.
This man pulled...
Is it a fucking trick dagger?
Nah,
what is it?
What this man probably did was stick it under his armpit type of situation or whatever. It fell forward. Because it legit says right here, it says the knife lay beneath him unbloodied.
Okay, but he was being controlled by the crown and she told him to kill. How did he work his way around that mentally?
I don't know. There was some type of loophole. Maybe he was a little stronger than maybe the mating bond gave him that strength that he didn't have. He was able to somehow whatever, because really what he did... Kind of like
Lucian broke out of the King of Hybrid spell to help Elaine.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe. I don't know. It was very confusing for me. And I was just I don't understand what the fuck just happened. This man should be dead.
Basically, it says the knife lay beneath him unbloodied, and when he groaned and cracked his eye open, he's I figured I should lay low because I thought that's what was gonna happen. And I was so you knew that she was gonna explode and then just unalive the queen?
It was confusion for me, and I was still kind of But then again, Sarah does everything for a reason. So it might be like we said, he was able to break or find a loophole in the curse to help his mate, like Lucian was able to help Elaine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At this point, too, we don't even get time to recover because Azriel and Moore show up and they're like, yo, we got to go. It's Feyre. And immediately I'm just damn, we literally.
Can we let them... Can we let Cassie and Nesta say, I love you? That's all I fucking want. That's all I want. Right.
Also, this whole situation happened so fast. The whole book, we've been building it up. Briolyn is the devil. I saw Briolyn with the devil, and she's evil, and she's coming for us, and blah, blah, blah. And then it takes this bitch less than 5 seconds to kill her.
And then the situation is Feyre's
and then they sweep right over it, and they're like, yeah, Feyre's in trouble now. We gotta go. I was like...
Can we slow down? Can we slow down, please?
Please. Sarah!
Yeah.
Sarah!
So that moves us on to chapter 76. We make it back to the river house. Basically, Feyre's in labor. She went into labor early, which was the problem. Mm-hmm. So she's basically hemorrhaging blood. And as we all know, her body isn't equipped to give birth to the baby. So the baby's stuck in the canal, and Feyre's trying to push him out. It's not happening. Maja is basically listen, it's not looking good. The baby might not survive. The option Maja comes up with is we may have to cut the baby out, which is basically a C-section. You're going to do a C-section.
But they were with that, the mother definitely will not survive.
No.
Which I found was interesting because it's they don't have a lot of like very big differences between, I guess, the humans and the Fae when it comes to like body stuff, kind of. But I would assume that with your healing and with your magic, like you would be able to do that. But
maybe not in this.
Guess not.
Scenario?
Oh well, you know what? Because it's still like medieval times, technically. So if you C-sectioned a human woman, she was not surviving that shit either.
Especially if the person hasn't performed a C-section many times, because C-sections, if you cut too deep, you're cutting the baby, and if you cut too light, you haven't cut enough to get the baby out. So it's a tricky. It's definitely a tricky operation. Feyre basically is like, do it. Elaine is praying to the Fae gods, whichever gods they are, and Nesta's holding her hand and like looking down and stuff. This was like kind of heartbreaking to me, because like Maja is telling Rhys, go into Feyre's mind, you know, help reduce the pain and stuff like that. And like Rhys is calling her Feyre darling, which we all know is his nickname for her. And Feyre immediately like tells him no goodbyes. No goodbyes. We're not doing goodbyes.
Oh, yeah, that kind of did me in.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm not even gonna lie.
And then unfortunately, so they do cut Feyre. They get the baby out with the wings, but he's not crying. And as we all know, when babies come out, they cry, they wail. So obviously the baby was a stillborn. Feyre is basically like taking her last little bit of breath. And as we all know, Feyre dies, Rhys is dead.
It's crazy because in this chapter, like, Rhys feels her slipping away. He feels her taking her last breath, and he fucking loses it.
Yeah.
Loses it. And at the same time, Nesta's like, no, not like this.
Her big sister instincts kicked in, and she was like...
Oh, right, they did! I was so proud. I was so proud of this bitch.
It's crazy. So Nesta, she immediately summoned the crown, the mask, and the harp, and then she plucked the 26th string of the harp, and then we move on to chapter 77, and that's when we realize it's time. So the 26th string stops time. So Nesta basically pulls she pulls a Quicksilver. She's like walking through time.
She definitely
did. A Quicksilver. I think she says, so they say that a familiar voice whispers to her and basically is talking to her while she's walking through time towards Feyre. And it's basically asking her, like, do you see how it might be, like, what you might do? And, like, Nesta says, I feel nothing. And whoever's voice says, is that not what you wanted, to feel nothing?
Right, but then she comes back and she's like, I thought that I did, but no, I want to feel everything. And I was like, oh, Nesta!
That was the revelation where she's like, sister, she's like, no, I want to feel everything. I want to take life in strides. I want to feel the hurt with the good. I want to, feel everything that life has to offer. And then she moves over to Feyre's side and she tells Feyre for the first time ever, I love you, Feyre.
She also asked whoever I guess she was talking to. We find out later that it was the mother. Like, she has a personal connection to the mother, the Fae god that created Perithian.
Exactly.
Which is crazy. But she's asking, she's like, if you help me save them, tell me how to save them, you can have all of this power back. And I was just like, oh, Nesta. And I didn't know at first if it was going to work, because Feyre had did the same thing when she was talking to the Cauldron in A Court of Wings of Ruin. And the Cauldron didn't listen to her.
I think the difference there, though, is Feyre doesn't have a personal connection. So, like, I think that was where, when Feyre had been wishing, for her friend's life and stuff, like, it wasn't answered. Whereas with Nesta actually has some type of personal connection with the mother. So it was, like, answered.
Nesta has a direct line.
Facts. Feyre had to go through all the operators.
She doesn't go on hold.
Nah, Feyre had to go through all the operators, and Nesta was like, no, I can jump this line. I can jump this
Feyre got the runaround. Nesta was like, yeah, no. Put me through.
Exactly.
So she is able to ultimately save Rhys, Feyre,
and the baby.
It's
crazy.
She's able to save all of them.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. So Feyre heard her when she said, I love you. So Feyre says, I love you too, which is a significant situation for both Nesta and Feyre, because they've never said I love you to each other. And then at this point is when Rhys runs over to Nesta, drops to his knees. And we know he don't drop to his knees for nobody.
Right. I don't get on my knees for nobody.
Man. Except this man only gets on his knees for Feyre and Valaris. And that's the fuck it. That's it.
Right.
But he dropped to his knees for Nesta. And Nesta also drops to her knees for him. I think this was so nice in regards to Nesta because she looks at him and she's like, this is my brother. This is my family. And I was like, yes, can we please?
Finally, and they hug it out and all of those past transgressions are just gone. It's like starting over the way that they were supposed to be.
Correct.
Yes. And now they have this relationship and it's just like literally the ending of this book has filled me with so much joy.
I couldn't agree more. So then we move on to chapter 78. Turns out.
Oh, wait, before we get to chapter 78, all this dying and coming back to life is pissing me the fuck off, Sarah.
I was like, okay.
It's too much. Okay. Oh, Cassian also says that he does see the power leave Nesta, but there looks like there's a hand that reaches out and keeps like a little sliver of it for her.
Yeah, so even though she told the cauldron, I give it all back, something kept her from giving all of it back.
It was the mother, because she's like, for your sacrifice, you still at least deserve, or you still deserve to have at least a sliver of it. Yeah.
So then we move on to chapter 78. So Remiel, the mountain, winnowed Gwen and Emery to the lake house.
Yeah, because it's supposed to winnow them back to, I think, Windhaven or wherever, where all the warriors are waiting to see who won. But she says that the magic knew where they were needed the most and sent them there.
Yeah. It was so cute.
I'm still really upset because I really wanted her to reach the top of the mountain.
I mean, she's still a warrior. She's just not at the top level that Gwen and Emery are. But she's still technically a warrior.
We should have seen that as foreshadowing when Gwen cut the ribbon first and then Emery cut the ribbon and then Nesta was last. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Also, what the fuck is the baby's name?
Nyx.
Like Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. Nyx.
Okay, because I was like, I'm not even going to try.
It's a Greek.
To pronounce it.
It's a Greek goddess.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I did not know. And I was like, I'm not going to even attempt it.
No, it's legit. It's so funny because it's talked about a little more in that bonus chapter that we read. So it's talked about a little more in that chapter. And it turns out, like, even Reese says it. He gets it from a book and it says that it's the goddess of night. It's actually a Greek goddess.
Oh, okay. Night. See, I didn't read the extra content chapter of Feyre and Reese. No, because I was like, I have 4 books with y'all. I'm fine. I'm good.
But in reality, it actually is a Greek god. Well, a Greek goddess.
That's pretty cool.
Of night.
Also, side note, I was doing a little research for Illyrian workouts. And did you know that Illyrians are real too? They are also, I think, Greek.
For real?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Apparently.
I know the Valkyries and shit were like
the Valkyrie are Nordic.
Vikings, yeah.
Yeah, but apparently the Illyrians were a thing.
I'm gonna have to look this shit up. I have to look this shit up. Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
NASA. Jesus!
Nesta!
Oh! What day is it?
It's Nesta!
Okay. Nesta. Damn. Nesta also tells Cassian that she permanently altered Feyre and herself so that when she's ready to have kids with Cassian, they don't have to go through all of that, drama and bullshit. It's just going to be what it is, which I thought was super cute.
So wait, because I thought about this. I was like, okay, so if Feyre and Reese decide to have another kid, Feyre's not going through this shit again. She'll be able to have the baby.
Yes.
I was
exactly.
Like, if Nesta and Cassian decide to have a kid, Nesta's not going through this. She'll be able to have the baby. There ain't no fucking way that Elaine is ending up with Az. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah, that's just further confirmation that Elaine is not going to be with Azriel, and I fucking love it.
All I kept thinking
was lapping that shit up.
There was a meme that I saw about this where it was like Nesta tells Cassian that she's altered herself and Feyre, and then it shows Chrissy Teigen and that smile with Elaine. I was like, Elaine. I was like, yes. Yeah, so when she says that, I sat there, I was like, this is further confirmation that, Az and Elaine, that's a no for me.
It ain't happening. It's not meant to be. Mm-mm. I love it. Nesta also says that she wants a mating ceremony, a very glorious, very big mating ceremony with all the stops.
Cassian's like, great. and I gotta have to hear, he's like, I'm gonna have to hear this shit from Mor, Az, and the Illyrians. They're all gonna be like,
Doesn't matter. You wanted her to accept the term mate. You will accept the lavish wedding ceremony.
That's another thing. So like the lavish, everything that's lavish and stuff. Is it here? No, it's
in chapter 79.
Yeah. Okay. And then at the very end of this, she ultimately says, "I love you," and her and Cassian kiss, and it's adorable. It's fucking adorable. So then in chapter 79, Cassian takes time to go meet with Eris. He realizes in this chapter, he's like, Eris might have been born into a high class thing and like being the son of a high lord and stuff like that, but he was most definitely deprived of everything that Cassian wasn't. So even though Cassian was born a brute, as everyone says, a bastard born brute, like Cassian still had love, family that he chose. Eris was born to Baron.
Yeah,
and like,
he's just
this man,
fucking horrible.
This man would torture his own son for information. Like, it was crazy.
And it further cemented that for him that it doesn't matter, like, your status. It's like the nature versus nurture stuff. Like the people that you are around, the people who raise you, your family and your friends. Those relationships are the ones that truly matter, not having a status and a title and riches and shit like that.
And there's like two things I want to take out of this chapter. So one, the Mor situation got brought up again. Eris tells Cassian, "You're not the person I want to explain myself to." And that's where Cassian's like, I doubt Mor will want to listen. But it sounds to me that Eris wants to have a conversation with Mor about what happened that day.
He also says that Mor knows
way more.
Yeah, I didn't want to say more.
No, but you, yeah.
Mor knows there's much more to the story than she's actually letting on. So I'm like, okay, bitch, what are you hiding?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I need. Okay, Sarah, if you're listening, the next book, I understand that it could be like Az's love story or whatever, but could we please get a little more context on like what the fuck went down that night between Eris and Mor?
We have been asking you. Listen, we have been asking you for the last 3 books. My patience runneth thin, Sarah.
So that's one thing. But then the other thing, Cassian tells Eris 2 things. He's like, Eris, I think you might be a decent male deep down, trapped in a terrible situation. And then he says, I grew up surrounded by monsters. I've spent my existence fighting them. And I see you, Eris. You are not one of them. Not even close. I think you might even be a good male. You're just too much of a coward to act like one.
Damn. And that left him speechless.
That left Eris speechless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, this is not in any way, shape, or form important to the story. But in the beginning, when Cassian goes to see him and Eris is like talking to him and he's like, why do you care so much about this situation in the story with Mor? And Cassian's like, because she's my sister and I love her. Oh. And Eris says, oh, I didn't know that you were in the habit of fucking your sisters. I was like, yes, Eris!
Somebody pointed it out.
That's exactly what I thought. I knew I was the only one.
Somebody pointed it out.
I knew I wasn't the only one.
Now Eris sees you and he's like, I'm going to point this shit out. Let me point this shit out.
Right. Thank you. Eris and I have the same thought process. But that leads us into chapter 80, which is the last chapter of this book. They are continuing to train. Just because they did the blood rite does not mean that they are done.
Hold up.
Okay?
Hold up. Because I understood that. However, they say that they spoke to Cassian and Az about the entire situation of the blood rite. And instead of Cassian and Az being like, we're so proud of you guys, thank you, like, great, blah, 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 these mofos basically made a fucking list of where these girls went wrong. I was like, can you take a minute and just acknowledge that I did my best?
It's like that parent who's like, you got a B for could have done better. I'm like, damn.
It was ridiculous.
Nesta also finally gets a portrait at the river house, and it's her defending the line on Ramiel.
Yes.
Which is awesome. We also find out Rhys cannot stop showering Nesta with gifts of appreciation.
As he should. If it wasn't for her, you, baby, and Feyre would have been gone. So yes, keep showering my girl with gifts.
She's just like, this is a little too much. I was like, no, baby, you deserve it.
Exactly.
Get that Birkin.
So ultimately what goes down there is she basically tells Reese as a compromise, look, stop giving me gifts, but I will allow you to throw me the most obnoxious mating ceremony ever. And then he also gifts Cassian and Nesta the house of wind, because he said the house enjoyed Nesta and Cassian more than him.
That was beautiful. And I just have to say again, I love this newfound brother-in-law and sister relationship, and I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it.
As it should be.
Oh, I'm so filled with joy.
Oh, also, side note, Cassian has become super obnoxious about calling her mate.
Oh my God, yes. Super obnoxious and super protective of following her wherever they go. Like, even if he's not like in view, he's in the skies, kind of like peering down at her, like she.
Yeah.
Right. Most importantly in this chapter was Nesta going to the graveyard to visit the tombstone of her father with Feyre and with Elaine.
And the baby.
And the baby. And actually like having a moment of realizing, yes, this happened. I'm sorry I couldn't do more to protect you. I'm sorry I was not deserving of your love, but I promise you that from here on out, I'm going to try to be.
Oh my God. But that was such a big step for her, because she hated her father so much. Even towards the end, she still hated him. And like, that was such a huge step for her to say thank you at his tombstone and to give him back the little carved rose that he had given her.
Oh yeah, that she had gotten from the cottage.
Yeah.
The self-realization in this little snippet is honestly the most heart-touching thing. One of the most heart-touching things that I've read in the book. And it's her will to be better and allow herself to love and be loved.
Yes, exactly.
It's just...
And I love that, like, remember in the beginning of the book, she wasn't thinking of Valaris or the Night Court as home. But by the end of the book, she's like, the House of Wind is my home. Valaris is my home. This court is my home. And I'm like, yes, Nesta, this is where you belong. This is your home. These are your people. Like, you've made a home for yourself in an environment that you didn't want to be in to begin with. And you didn't want to be high fae. And like, now you've accepted it, and you've accepted your mate, and you've accepted your sisters that you chose, and you've accepted your blood sisters as well. And I'm like, just sitting there like, girl, this couldn't get any better. It couldn't get any better.
It really couldn't. Literally, that was the best way to end this book. Yeah. And honestly, Sarah, bravo.
Facts.
Bravo. Because this was simply a work of art. This was a masterpiece of literature. And I fucking loved it.
I agree.
Gulped this shit up.
I agree.
I gulped it up.
I think so too. I think like there was not one time that I felt like this book was taking too long to get to the point.
Yeah. So since we literally said our entire review already and have been still repeating it, it's a 5. It's a 5 for me.
It was a 5, most definitely.
It's a goddamn 15.
It's a 10.
It's a 20, Sarah.
It's 100. We just gonna go there. It's 100.
Dead ass. Like, this is literally the best book in the series for me. I loved everything about it.
Here's the thing. You have now, Sarah, set the standard, because this book is the standard.
Yes.
So the next book has to be better than this. Because if not, it falls short. And if it falls short, I'm going to have an issue.
Ashley over here making threats, Sarah.
I'm just
better
saying,
do your job.
I'm going to have a problem.
Do your job.
The next couple, I better fall in love with them the exact same way, if not better, than I fell in love with Cassian and Nesta.
But I also don't want it to just be focused on just the love.
No.
I wanted to jump around. Like, this book jumped around. Like, there were serious issues that needed to be addressed and fixed, and a lot of self-realization. So I wanted to be a mix of all of those things together. I don't just want like a novella. Like, I want some serious shit to go down. I want to see the reunion between Helion and Lucian. Like, realization that you are the daddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I want to see him running off backstage and the camera following him. Like, all that.
Like
all
the
that
Maury
shit.
Show.
Right. Exactly. Like the Maury Show.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said that this book is a standard, because of how it was written. So the next book has to be, take this as the example and follow it, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I do feel like the ending was a little bit rushed. However, we have come to know that is Sarah's signature move.
Yeah, it's her writing style.
Yeah. So it's like, that didn't bother me so much. But you guys, that's the end of the fucking book. That's the end of the ACOTAR series so far. We've been reading this shit since March.
Since March, really?
Yes, bitch, since March.
Oh shit.
March was ACOTAR. So because we got done the Cruel Prince in February, we're like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
And we went right into ACOTAR in March. So we have been reading this series since March because y'all are fucking relentless. But also, thank you for the introduction.
Okay. Are we going to talk about the extra content stuff now? Like, I mean, Az's situation. Because I think it was really, honestly, I think it was really quick. And I think some of your, if you're reading the book, if you have the book, some of you guys do have this bonus chapter. I know my book didn't have it, but I know some of you.
Yeah, which is weird. My book did not have the bonus chapter either.
I think some people bought specific books that do have the bonus chapter.
Son of a bitch.
So basically, this whole scenario happens during the night of the winter solstice. The way that this point of view is written, everybody has gone to sleep and Azrael is up. Like lately, he just can't go to sleep. And what he decided to do was he bought Elaine a gift, but chose not to give it to her because of Lucian being in the room.
Right. He was trying to be quote unquote respectful.
Right, exactly. So he was planning to basically put it on her pile of gifts. So he makes his way down there. He's about to do that. And wouldn't you fucking know it, this bitch, this two-timing bitch, she also bought him a gift, but she ain't buy Lucian a gift.
Honestly, like, don't fucking get her anything. I don't know why he continues to try to fucking nurture this relationship with her when clearly she's being a goddamn bitch.
Like, oh my God. So she and Az end up meeting each other in the foyer and they exchange gifts there.
He gives her this like glass stained necklace that's in the shape of a rose.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's beautiful. Put it on me, would you?
I'm telling you, this bitch knows what she's doing. Everybody in their mom is like, this is like, Elaine is so dainty and she's so sweet and she's so innocent. And blah, blah,
lies,
blah.
Bitch.
And I'm telling you, this bitch is not. She knew exactly what she was doing. She like sat there. She's like, oh, it's so nice. It's so pretty. Put it on me. Then she lifts up her hair. She turns around, lifts up her hair. So Cass has to like put it. Oh, sorry. Az. I see. I'm in love with Cassian. I'm sorry. So Az has to put it on her. And when he does, he's like, stroking the back of her neck, like his hand like raises the back of her neck. Immediately he gets aroused.
And he talks about the nights where he has spent having playtime with himself, thinking about Elaine, and he's like, oh, it's sacrilegious for my hands to touch her delicate body. And I'm like, boo.
It's tomatoes for me, yo.
Tomatoes.
So then what ends up happening is he does that. He puts the necklace on her. And basically she gives Az permission to kiss her. And he's like, we're like inches apart from blah, blah, blah. So he's like leaning down to kiss her. She's waiting for it. And all he hears in the back is Azrael. And like immediately he looks up.
Caught.
Right. Red-handed. He immediately looks up. He sees Reese. And Reese is giving him this look like, we need to talk.
Get your ass up here.
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly. So he basically tells Elaine, to be honest, this actually kind of made me feel really good. He tells Elaine, we can't do this. To which she obviously feels rejected.
Yeah. And he was like, this is a mistake. I'm sorry. Good night. Like, he couldn't even finish the word. He's just like, this is a mistake. Good night.
And she feels rejected. And I was like, yes.
Good.
Yes.
Get a hint of your own medicine.
Exactly. So then what ends up happening is Reese immediately tears Az a new one. He is like, what the fuck are you doing? Her mate is sleeping upstairs in this house. And you are planning to seduce her? And then he was like, do you know that if you did that, that gives Lucian the right for, what did they call it?
A blood duel.
Yeah, a blood duel.
Where they basically fight to the death.
And it says Az was willing to do that for more against Eris and Baron.
Yeah.
Now, though, he's basically telling Reese he's willing to do that for Elaine. He's like, she shows no interest in him. Maybe the cauldron made a mistake.
Right. How is it that Cassian gets Nesta and you get Feyre, but I don't get the third sister? That makes no sense. I'm like, oh, so you feel entitled, huh?
Look, I had a conversation with Morgan about this because I was like, it's the entitlement for me. It's the fact that he sat there and he was like, oh, how dare the Cauldron give 2 sisters to my brothers and me not the third sister.
Now, she was all fucked up in the face. Would you still feel that way?
But I like sat there and I was like, she might not be yours. You know what I mean? Like, she obviously, she's Lucian's mate for a reason. So there is somebody out there who is your equal.
This girl is not your equal.
Exactly. That is the whole thing.
You know how on Willy Wonka, Veruca gets up on the thing and it's like, bad egg, and puts her down the chute? That's that.
Yeah.
That is that.
Basically.
When he's like, is Elaine my mate?
Nah. I honestly believe what it is for Az is the entitlement and it's lust. That's what it is.
Yeah. I do want to point out that the chapter does continue and Azriel's like, I can't sleep here tonight. I have to go back to the House of Gwen. When he gets there, Gwen is up there in the middle of the night training. And I was like, see, that's your fucking mate.
The redhead.
He mentions like
training.
As she's training and she stops and she looks at them and they have a conversation, he mentions that his shadows sing and come alive in her presence. How do you not know that this is your mate?
Also, the shadows don't warn him that Gwen are there. The shadows always warn him that somebody is around. They legit, the way it's described in this little extra content, legit, they just sat on his shoulders and was like, all right, well.
The shadows know. The shadows know this is your mate. And you know what? I want to know too. I wonder if the shadows have actually whispered to him, Gwen is your mate. And he's still trying to like deny it. Like he wants to be with Elaine or some shit.
Maybe.
I wonder.
Maybe.
Actually, no, he wouldn't have. I don't think. Okay. I think that Gwen still has some stuff that she needs to handle.
Yeah.
And Azriel definitely needs to like step away from Elaine and more for that mating bond to become more apparent. That makes more sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
When he leaves her in the ring to continue to practice, he hears her singing and he immediately smiles to himself and like, it's like some type of special thing that you would see between a mate.
Yes, yes. And I'm like, he's blind. He's fucking blind.
Facts.
He also, the next day, because Elaine put her present back on his pile of gifts, he takes the necklace and he's like, you know what? I'm going to give it to Gwen. So he goes down there. He has a conversation with Chloe and he's like, can you please give this to Gwen? Chloe's like, yeah. My thing though, Azriel.
Why are you regifting shit?
Azriel, clearly you don't know how much trouble you're going to fucking be in when Elaine finds out that you regifted this necklace that was for her to Gwen. And when Gwen finds out that she was sloppy seconds, you do not know the fight that will break out.
This is how I want that whole scene to go. I want for Gwen to show up to the lake house, whatever, House of Wind, whatever it is, right? I want her to show up with Nesta and Emery. I want them to walk in as Valkyries. Okay? I want them to walk in as Valkyries, and I want her to have the necklace on.
Shut up!
Okay? And I want Elaine to be standing next to Feyre and Reese or whoever it is, right? The whole inner circle. And I want her to stand there, and I want her face to fucking drop. I want her jaw to drop when she sees the necklace. Okay? And then I want later on that night for all hell to break loose. That's what I want. That's what I want.
When you said that you wanted Nesta and fucking Emery to be flanking Gwen, I was like, you want them to jump her?
I do. I would be so in for them to jump Elaine.
God. Oh my God. You're too fucking much. But yeah, so with that being said, I am super excited for the next couple of books.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not all focused on the love triangle drama, but I do want to watch Elaine suffer.
I honestly think for Elaine's character development, I think she does need to suffer in love.
I just want to watch her heart crumble.
That's legit. No, seriously. I think some type of storyline like that is what I'm looking for. I hate to say this, but like, it's not like I'm, want her to suffer so badly, but like, I just think character development wise, she needs to go through some type of.
She does. She needs to get a little dirt.
Yeah.
Dirt on her face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I completely agree. But you guys, that's literally all of the ACOTAR content.
Oh my God, we finally did it.
We did it. We did it.
Hooray! Lo hicimos. We did it.
We did it. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, Lord.
So don't be mad, you guys. We are not immediately running back into Sarah J. Maas world just yet.
So if y'all wanted us to chill with, what is it, Aileen and Rowan, we not there yet. We not doing it.
We're not there yet.
We're not doing it yet.
Please. We just need a small reprieve. A small reprieve.
Or Bryce and Hunt, we not there yet. We not there yet.
Or Rune Denon. I've
seen so many TikToks. It makes me sit and be like, who is this man?
I know.
I'm like, man.
Bruh, we will get to it. I promise you guys we will get to it. But we just need a small break from Sarah and the drama, bro.
And the words and the pronunciation.
And the fucking words. Yes, so we just need a small break. So the next book that we are going to be reading is Siege and Storm, going back to our roots. We are going to do the first 8 chapters of that book.
So excited.
I know. And it's YA. So we're going back to our roots.
Right, we're going back to the roots, yeah. So, especially because ACOTAR started off as YA and then...
It didn't even start off as YA.
It was very much... what is it, like new YA or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was new adult. It was very much new adult.
Yeah.
And then it turned into straight small.
As somebody says, when she said she was going adult, she went adult.
Bruh, I feel like, last thing before we wrap up, I swear, I feel like it started out like, one of those heavy metal songs where it starts out with like a nice little melody and then it's like, I was like, oh shit.
I was like,
Sarah.
wait, we wasn't prepared.
Right. Yeah, we were not prepared, but loved every moment of it.
I agree. Yes.
Yes. With that being said, you guys, please make sure that you do not forget to rate and review the podcast if you absolutely love what we do and want us to continue. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at YA at Heart Podcast. And be sure to check out our website with our YA merch. Get you some t-shirts, get you some hoodies, get you some tote bags, some stickers, some mugs. Yes. Deadass, I already ordered 2 things.
Look, I'm waiting for my paycheck. I'm waiting to get paid next Friday, but like I got you because I plan to get a mug. I plan to be rocking all types of shit.
I need to get my mug. I got a hoodie and a phone case. I'm not gonna lie. And it's not me just being biased,
No,
this shit is cute.
Really nice.
This shit is cute.
Yeah. So with that, want to say, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the ACOTAR series as we've like gone through it and stuff. We will be back to Sarah J. Maas's world, just not at the moment. And we love you guys, and always stay YA at heart. Bye.
Bye.